so we'll start off with just give me an intro, your name, where you're from, and what position you play here at CoLin.
All right. I'm Hayden Hill. I play linebacker here at CoLin. I'm from Lowell, Mississippi. Went to Northwest Rankin.
Good deal. So how's the summer going so far? Are you taking any online classes as opposed to in the past when you would be here in June? What are you up to now, school-wise?
Yeah. I actually just finished all my classes during the summer, so I got those out of the way. I'm just preparing to go back and take my actual fall classes. So right now,
Eh,
I'm just doing my own thing.
Did you do those classes online?
They were online.
All right. How have the coaches been staying in touch with you? All the way dating back to March to now so far.
Yeah, they've been texting us and everything, but we've been having our little linebacker and like safety meeting every Tuesday and Thursday. So we're keeping up with like the football part, and they're keeping up with like the they're telling us when we need to go back, and they're letting us know whatever they hear. So they'll text us whenever they hear something new, or they'll just get on the Zoom meeting and tell us everything. So
How have you been staying motivated? Definitely when it comes to staying in play in shape when you don't have that structure of weights at this time, practice at this time. How do you do it by yourself?
um, I've always been pretty good at that, but the mission really comes from not having an offer yet. So this year is like the year that I need to have my breakout season, So this is going to be like the really biggest year for me right now. So that's my motivation for me.
So right now we're set for a 6-game regular season. All of those games will be division games. Normally we have the 2 games or the 2 early
Right.
games in the season are normally North Division. How
Right.
does that change you mentally as a player going into a season that's kind of crammed in there all at once?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, this is my biggest year, I feel like, for me. So it's gonna be tough, but I mean, I think we're up for the challenge. But I mean, it's really important. I mean, they cut some games, so I don't have as many games to show out. So that's gonna be probably the toughest part, I think. But
Absolutely. You still
yeah,
there? You paused on my screen. Sorry. All right.
yeah, you're frozen on the screen. I can hear you though.
Okay, good deal. As long as we can still, it's just telling me now my internet is not very stable, but we'll keep going. So when you were a freshman, you had basically 3 months once you came in June, to get to know the guys, get to know the sophomores, kind of get to find out what the mentality of the team is going to be. So how do you do that this year going in? That you're going to be the sophomore, you're going to be one of the leaders. How do you build that rapport with the freshmen? How do you
Right.
kind of set the tone so quickly?
Right. Um, it, I think it was built from the sophomores last year. I think they kind of gave us that mentality, and so they led as an example for us. I mean, we know what to do. I mean, they what they didn't do and what they did do. I mean, we can see that, and so we can take that from last year, and then we can give it back to those freshmen who are coming in. So
Is it going to be challenging to not have that time in the dorm? That off practice stuff that you get to do where you really get to know the guys. That's kind of been missing this year. So
right.
how do you streamline that as quickly as you can? Do you think?
I mean, I know everybody who's coming in is really serious about football, and so I feel like we can get to know them pretty well because it is their whole life. They're coming to college for football, so I think that they're going to be pretty easy to connect with. So that's pretty much everybody's goal is to get to the next level from here, and so we have that in common. So I can get pretty close to them.
What do you think your overall expectations are for CoLin this year, and what do you think needs to happen for us as a team to be successful in this league?
To be successful, I think we need to win all 6 games. I mean, that's everybody's goal. That's the big
Right.
thing. Um, we don't have as many games to prove that ourselves. Like last year, we kind of had it was kind of downhill a little bit. We had a lot of injuries and everything. So this year, I think we'll be pretty healthy. And I know our sophomore class this year, I was more connected. That was my class, and so I was pretty connected. And I know everybody by name, and I know everybody outside of football, so I can show everybody that that we're more connected as a team, and so that is going to be tough for the freshmen. But I feel like we can connect with them. So the toughest part about that is we just got to do it really early. So
Right. And you mentioned this kind of earlier, but we can expand on it a little bit. What are your personal goals going
yeah,
into this season? I know you had a couple of really big breakout games last year,
right.
got a lot of attention on yourself. What are your goals for yourself?
Hopefully I can have a breakout game every game. I I don't have a specific college, but I'm hoping to get a scholarship somewhere where I can go and play the next level. So that's been my goal since I was started playing football in 4th grade. So that's just been my mindset the whole time. So
Well, good.
At Copiah-Lincoln Community College, we're ready to help you achieve your dreams on any of our 3 campuses. Choose from our top-rated online, academic, pre-professional, or career technical programs at a place you'll love to call home. Now more than ever, it's important to make wise financial decisions, and our tuition is one of the lowest in the state, with scholarships starting at an ACT score of 19. When you choose CoLin, you open up a world of opportunities. Visit us online at www.colin.edu.
Coach, clearly this summer has been challenging and different. How have you and the coaching staff stayed in contact with our guys, and what have the players been up to during the summer, during this off time, I guess, to stay in shape and stay ready for the season?
Well, we hadn't seen them since March the 5th, and that's kind of been a pretty tough thing for us and them. I think the big thing is the schools allowed us to stay in contact with them through Zoom meetings, and we've done FaceTime meetings, with about classes and staying up on their work, and I mean it's been one of those summers I hope we don't have again.
Absolutely. Last season was the first season here on Stone Stadium with the turf field. What new upgrades do we have coming? And with these new upgrades, how will that affect our atmosphere here for our fans and our community? And then what does that do for the recruiting game for the college?
Well, I mean, hopefully, we're going to have fans at games and that stuff. And I think, with the new scoreboard and Jumbotron that Dr. Uline is, going to help us with, I think is, it's going to be big. I think in recruiting, it's something that we can use as a recruiting tool. I mean, it's something that, our entire student body will be able to enjoy something with it. And I mean, they can show movies, they can do a lot of things with it. It's going to be really nice from that standpoint, and give our kids something to do during the week, and have everybody involved on campus. And, the tennis courts on campus, the new tennis courts new tennis complex that we've got is going to be a tremendous asset too. And I just can't thank her enough for her vision of seeing things like that, of what it's going to make CoLin better.
Recruiting wise, specifically for football, what does that bring to the table?
I mean, there's so many things that we can do with the scoreboard for recruiting. Today's society is all about the bells and whistles, and it's definitely going to be one of the nicest bells and whistles that's going to be out there. And I mean, I think we can kids can see themselves in different light. It's going to be one of those things, the kid's running down the sideline and fisting a score, and he can see himself on the Jumbotron. I mean, it's just stuff like that catches kids' eyes today.
As a coaching staff leading into this season, how do you prepare for, normally we have our guys here in June practicing. As a coaching staff, how do you prepare for such an interesting season?
Well, it's kind of like the old days when we coached, when I was a younger coach, that, we didn't have summer school. We didn't have, the workouts in the summer, and, we had to rely on the kids doing things like that. And, I know we've got some good kids that are doing everything they can to make sure that they're ready. Then you got some that probably not working quite as hard as they need to, and I think that's going to be everywhere in America, that you're going to have those kind of kids. And I think from that standpoint, it's going to be, it's going to kind of be really fast, and your kids are going to have to hit the ground running and learning. And we've got to figure out how we're about getting them in shape. They're going to hit a wall at some point during practice, and we've got to give them some days off and that kind of stuff, and in our planning. And it's going to be different for sure.
All right, going into a shortened season, we're looking at a potential 6-game season. How do you keep our players motivated with it being kind of all at once and then done?
Well, I think the thing that I think you'll see out of them is that they want to play football, and you know, having been away from it for a while, I think that hunger is going to help a lot. And you know, for the sophomores, I think it's an opportunity. Every chance they get to play a game is video for them to sell themselves to college coaches, and I think that's you know, mighty big for those kids.
Obviously, there's a lot of mystery kind of going into the season. Like you said, you've experienced that before in the past, kind of the old school way of things. But what are your overall expectations for CoLin going into 2020?
Well, I mean, we always try to expect to be competitive, and you know, I think you know, usually, you know, you have your North Division games early in your season, so you have a chance to kind of get all the kinks out before you hit your you know, your division play, and so you know, now you don't have the luxury of that. But I think that we'll, you know, expect to be competitive, and you know, I think we have a good setup for our schedule. You know, we just got to play well, and you know, missing spring ball doesn't help, but you know, I think we'll, you know, we're not going to make any excuses about it. We're just going to, everybody's in the same boat, and we're going to play as hard as we can play.
Awesome.